Hey everybody. So I'm going to talk about the advancements in golf technology. And I know this is something that's maybe a little different, but I think this is something that many people are not truly informed about unless you're really in the golf industry. Because I know most people believe that golf is a very boring and slow game that may be played by old men, which is true to a certain extent. But golf is actually advancing. It's not just these guys with little tiny crooked sticks that are all the same, trying to hit a little ball down a little strip of grass. So let's talk about some statistics first. So in 1986, Davis Love III averaged 285 yards per drive on the PGA Tour, and he was the leading average drive distance then for the PGA Tour. But we talk about 2016, 30 years later, Luke List averaged 317.6 yards per drive, and we're talking 32 yards of increased distance just from the advance in technology. These guys are both built extremely similar and actually have extremely similar swings. And also the average drive from in the same span also increased from 261 yards to 291 yards. And that's again 30 yards, which is one third the length of a football field. So the golf industry is actually a $70 billion industry, and I don't think many people would truly realize how large it is. And the R&D that is involved in this is extremely large. So let's move back to 1980 before all this technology started to happen. So in 1980, all the heads on drivers, and this is from 2000 with a steel head, but they in 1980 they were still wood, and this was it was a steel shaft, and the wood could get bent and dinged and create nicks, and this would allow for inconsistent face. So it wouldn't be a flat face; it would be harder to hit a straighter shot, as the face of the driver wasn't perfectly flat. But in 1980, TaylorMade came out with a steel face, and steel is stronger, and you create a flat face, and the lifetime of the driver increased many, many years due to the fact that now the face did not get bent or messed up very quickly. So let's advance to 2000, which is when this driver was built, and the next advancement was a graphite shaft. So this graphite shaft is extremely important because the graphite shaft actually flexes. Now this flex allows you to get a little more flex through the swing and allows the golf club to whip at the golf ball to allow you to get more distance. And this also is much lighter than the old steel shafts. So let's jump ahead about 10 years. So in 2010, TaylorMade came out with the SLDR, and that's right here. And the biggest difference is the size of the head. So the old 2000s drivers were about 220 cubic centimeters, while this is 460 cubic centimeters. And the larger head allows you to be more stable as you're flying through the air, and that's extremely important because you get less wiggle and the dispersion of the shots will be less. The next thing that's extremely important is moving from material, and we're moving from the old style steel heads to now titanium heads. And these titanium heads are much lighter and stronger, allowing you to hit it swing faster and hit it farther. And obviously distance is better. Now the third thing that this driver has done is it allows you to adjust things on the driver to make it more personal to you. So I can actually pull this driver head off with a little wrench that they gave me, and I can increase the loft by 2.5 degrees or decrease the loft by 2.5 degrees. And I also can move this little blue weight here wherever I would like on the driver to change the center of gravity of the driver. And this allows me to counteract the shot that I may not want, which would be left to right or right to left. So let's move on a little bit farther again, and we'll move on to the Ping G driver, which released in 2016. And this driver is extremely useful with aerodynamics. So this driver, actually, you can see it here, has little fins on top. And these fins act just like a plane fin on the back, and allows it to be more stable as it's flying through the air. And also on the back, you can see it here, they call it dragonfly technology, and this reduces the drag as the air goes over the crown, which is the top of the driver, when it's moving to 110 to 120 miles an hour close to impact. Now, they didn't stop there. They also made the material lighter and stronger. So it's actually 30% lighter and 30% stronger than regular titanium. It's called alternate titanium. It's T9S titanium. And this, again, is extremely important because now we're less wiggle, which is smaller dispersion. We can go faster through the air, so we have less drag, and we have a stronger face, which allows for more compression of the golf ball and a farther shot. So these are just some of the advancements in technology that's occurred in golf in the last 30 years. And so let's go back to that statistic from 1986 to 2016, which is a 30-year span, with an increase of 30 yards, which is an 11% increase in distance. So let's take this outside of golf. So what if, just because of advancements in technology, you had an increase of your grade by 11%? I mean, I think that'd be pretty good. And just because of advancements in technology, 11% is awesome.